Hello,
Can we
everybody.
hear you?
Welcome.
Yeah.
What, what's that, Karen?
I
Welcome,
was just making sure
everybody.
we could hear.
Okay, welcome. We're just waiting a few minutes. We're going to be on Lilydale Blog Talk Radio in just a moment, and I think it's starting right now, right, Karen?
You've got 17 seconds and then the intro, which is
Okay,
30 seconds.
okay. Okay, we got to wait a second.
Okay. And no talking during the intro. Hello, good evening, everyone. This is Karen, and I'm introducing our medium of Blog Talk Radio today, Reverend Angela Hewett-Abt. Her show is Angie and Friends, Spiritual Conversations, and here she is.
Welcome, everybody. Welcome. So, as Karen said, my name is Angie Hewett-Abt, and I'm a registered Lilydale medium. And I welcome you to Blog Talk Radio, and we're also streaming live on Facebook. So below me is my good friend and special guest, Hank Setala, the Sonic Shaman. Hi, Hank.
Hello. Thank you so much for having me on.
Thank you for being on. We're excited to have you. And next to me, I'm going to introduce too. My partner in crime is Karen Sully, who handles everything tech for us. She's my assistant. She takes care of everything. So welcome, Karen.
Welcome.
Yep, the show couldn't happen without you.
It could. It never could.
Yeah.
Never could. So
And
the
a little
first
bit
thing.
of.
Go ahead.
Oh, go ahead.
Oh, okay. So before we start talking with Hank, we're going to have like a fun conversation here. I want to invite everybody to write in your comments, write us some questions to Hank, Karen, or I. You can post it in comments on Facebook, or there's a phone number if you want to call in to Lilydale Blog Talk Radio. And Karen probably can tell you what that number is.
Yep, I've got it right here.
Okay, there we go. So 818-739-8818. So you can call into 818-739-8818. And we very much welcome you to be part of the conversation. And before we start talking, I just want to talk just briefly about Lilydale. And, Hank, I know you've been to Lilydale.
Many times, yes.
Yes. Do you love it?
I absolutely love it. Especially the first time you ever go, it is one of the most magical experiences you'll ever have. It's like something out of a novel or a movie.
It is. It is. It really is. You know what? I love that word magical because certain things like have that feel. And for sure, I felt the same way when I walked in Lilydale. There's something about it. You walk around and just the things that they do with the mediums there doing readings and going to the stump services and all those kinds of things are amazing.
Right. It's almost like you're stepping into another world, and all the houses, especially on Main Street, they're just so picture perfect. And then the nature surrounding, like you have the lake right there, the woods. It's just an amazing place. No matter what you like, there's something for everyone.
Yeah, I feel the same way. You know what I always notice too when I go to Lilydale are the flowers. It seems like people's hydrangea bushes and rhododendrons and all those grow bigger than I see anyplace else.
I haven't noticed that specifically, but they're definitely, people put so much care into how the overall vibe is to the place. It's like those flowers add an extra layer of energy on top of everything that's already going on there.
Definitely. And just so everybody knows too, that Lilydale is opening this season, and everybody was wondering about that, and I had a lot of questions. Opening day is Friday, the June 27th. It's limited. Like there's a limited amount of people that they're allowing in. A good idea to buy your gate pass ahead of time if you can. There will be mediums doing readings. There will be stump services, one less than usual, and they've changed the times a little bit. So just make sure you take a look at all that. And I'm excited to see you down in Lilydale. I can't wait to go.
Yep, definitely.
Yeah. So welcome. So welcome, Hank. So tell us a little bit about you.
Okay, well, I guess what I would consider a natural intuitive from birth, possibly due to a near death experience. I just always had this intuitive knack. And I was really aware of other people's feelings. I was very empathic. And so as soon as I could legally drink, I became a professional drinker for many, many years, trying to medicate my gift away. And when I finally got sober, one of the first things that came across my path was actually Barbara Sanson. And I don't know if you know this story about me or not, but she came out to Richmond Heights and she was doing readings out of a little place called Chimam, which is the Center for Holistic Energy and Applied Metaphysics. And she did this reading for me. And at the very end, she was telling me about how my grandpa was there and that he had a gift for me that my mom had, but she forgot about. And she's like, and it's this beautiful knife. And I'm like, no, there was a belt buckle, but my brother stole it and sold it for drug money, so I never got it. And she's like, no, he says there's a knife. And she's like emphatic about it. And when I went home, and I told my mom about it, my mom's like, oh my God. And there was a knife. It was intended for my brother, but because he stole my gift, she had it for me. And that was my sign. There's something to this. And she had told me, you got to go to Lilydale, get your training. And that's kind of what started my whole process of finding Lilydale, finding fellowships, and starting my getting some structure to go along with the gifts that I had.
I know what you mean because I needed to go and get some structure to it as well. Because I remember that too. Like I remember like all of a sudden kind of like knowing things and not being sure why I knew them and thinking it was pretty neat that there was definitely something to it and getting a reading from Elaine. And the same thing happened to me that there was so much accuracy in that reading. I knew I had to get training as well.
Absolutely.
So did you go to fellowships first or did you take other trainings or?
Well, my first thing was actually Reiki. In the span of 4 months, I took Spiritual Insight Training 1 and 2 and Reiki 1 through Master. And then I had a crisis healing. And then I signed up for the 2-year program. And during that 2 years, it wasn't just a 2-year school I did. I signed up for everything. I signed up for Monkey. I signed up for the Caroline's class, Patty Conklin's classes. Like I couldn't get enough. And my wife kept saying, you just got to pick something. And I'm like, no, I can't. I just got to, Elaine would always say, take the best and leave the rest. And I took that to heart and I took everything I could, especially before kids, because once kids happened, it made it much harder to take classes. So I'm glad that I was able to kind of binge learn at fellowships with everything.
Binge learn. Yeah. I love that. Binge learn. That's really true. Because I was the same way. Like once you get a taste of it, you can't stop. It's like, I've got to learn more. I got to take everything. I know what you mean. You too, Karen?
Yes, definitely. I had mine in high school was my first touch with binge learning, and I got spirit stones, and I would take exams with crystals on my desk, and people thought I was really weird. And I went through a little phase, and then in my early 20s, I took a ton of classes. That's when I became attuned in Reiki, and I just went to as many classes as I could. And I went to school in Fredonia, which State University of New York, Fredonia, which is like 10 minutes from, or maybe 15, maybe to Lilydale. So I spent my summers down there and going to Lilydale quite a bit. And I was friends with some mediums early on and got exposed to all these other good, juicy things out there.
Yeah.
I was going to say, one of the things I think is really great, if you're somebody in the healing arts or doing readings like you do, the more classes you have, when you start to really trust your own knowing about things, things aren't like, sometimes spirit gives me a new technique I've never used on anybody. And if I hadn't had Tom Kratzley doing green peppers, like I might have thought I was out of my mind. Like, really, I'm supposed to do what, spirit? And but once you have like enough classes, and it's not so much about what you're learning, it's about thinking out of the box, so that when you get your own divine inspirations, that you're in a space where you can trust it, because you've had enough exposure to things that are way out of your normal way of thinking. And it just really opens the door for you to be an allowance of your natural gifts and your true inspirations from spirit to do things that no one's ever taught you.
I totally agree. And I think too, like the more learning you do, like even, I mean, I've been doing readings for 25 years and I still go and take classes, and you wind up like where somebody teaches something a different way and you go, wow, I never thought of that. Like, this is another way that I can connect with spirit and get more accurate, or just do it a whole different way. I totally agree. Yeah. You should talk about what you mean about green peppers and healing.
Tom Kratzley, he had this technique where you would cut a green pepper in half and you would basically use it in the person's energy field, and the peppers would suck out all the heaviness or suck out the quote unquote negative energy. And
Yeah.
if you tried to eat the pepper afterwards, you would swear that the thing had been rotting because it was just so heavy with the energy that pulled out of the person. But that's what I mean. Like, and sometimes I think stuff like that is maybe more for the client because they come to you with a certain expectation, and if you do something crazy, that their left brain is just like, what? It gets their ego out of the way so they can receive their own healing.
I never thought of that. That's really true. Because you know what? I took those green peppers. My stepfather had cancer, and he was going through chemo. My mom said, "Get down to Florida right away." There, and do some healing on Ron. So I said, "Okay, first thing you have to do is buy some green peppers. I'm going to need those." And she said, "What? Fine. That weird stuff you do, go ahead." So I did, and I worked like with the green peppers and his aura, and it pulled out what he didn't need. Some of the effects and that chemo, and actually he felt a lot better afterwards. And actually, I noticed that the green peppers actually looked a little bit like almost like a graying. Did you ever have that too?
Yeah, I've only done the technique one time just to say that I did it. I use a similar thing. I use 2 crystal geodes, and I use them in the energy field, and then I just put them on my mesa and allow them to kind of empty and drain into the earth. But if I needed to, if I got the inspiration that, hey, this person needs green peppers, I would probably have them go buy them, because that way they're coming and they've already been involved in the healing process. They're like, why do I need to bring green peppers? And then you cut them and do the thing and make them part of the experience, even prepping before the session. So I may do it again someday, but every single healing, I kind of just open up and say, what would be the greatest, what could I do that would create the greatest possibility for this person? And sometimes it's Reiki, sometimes it's sound, sometimes it's shamanism. And you just kind of follow the energy to see what that person brought with them.
Yeah. Go ahead, Karen.
We have 2 callers. Do you guys want to live on the edge here and take a call?
Yes, absolutely. We sure do. Let's live on the edge.
Okay, let's see if I can technically do this.
All right. Our first time callers.
Yeah, no problem. Hello, you are on the air with Angie and Hank.
Hello.
Can we answer something for you?
And I don't hear anything.
I don't hear anything either.
What's that?
I think it's only in her headphones.
I think only in her head. She might have to take her headphones off
I might have to.
You might have to take off your professional headphones for a minute. I'll say hi to people too. We have Debbie is on, and Shaman's Way is on, and Karen is on. Hello, everybody. Thanks for joining us. Make sure you let us know that you're on, and send us some hearts and some comments so we know you're with us. Do you have it, Karen?
Or not.
I can't hear it.
Yep, we can't hear you, Karen. It's all right.
Okay, I was just muted. I think he's still there. Sir, are you there?
Oh, here we go. Okay.
Hello.
Yes, we can hear you.
Hello. Yeah, we can hear you, sir. Hi.
See, we don't have this quite figured out. I don't know if he can hear us, but we could hear him. That was weird.
You want to go see if the second one comes in?
Sure. I don't want to waste all this time doing that, but let's give this a go here.
Or we can keep talking until you get it to come in.
No, these are dead. Okay.
Okay.
Hello. Is anyone there?
Maybe it's someone from the other
Irene Lavin says, hello, you 3. Hi, Irene. And she says, good to remember the green pepper is a way of helping heal. I'll just tell a quick story since you brought up Tom Kratzley. And Tom Kratzley is one of the co-director of Fellowships of the Spirit. And we had him teaching a workshop Friday night. I don't even know if you know that. And he taught some pretty good sound tech, using your voice for healing. But Hank, I don't know if you ever did. He taught the laughing chakra, because he said if you picture a smile like in any place in your body that needs to be healed, a smile is going to bring positive energy. So Tom kind of came up with laughing, the laughing chakra, to bring your body into balance. I don't know if you ever heard Tom do that, but it was fun.
I haven't had the pleasure, but my teacher, Don Zane Kerfman, he was teaching a little bit in a class about the Bushmen, which is a particular tradition from Africa. And they had this thing where you get into a very meditative state and you just kind of look for this energetic rope. And when you grab the rope, you just get this overwhelming urge to laugh. And people would be in the village and like laughing, and you would touch someone and it would spread to them and they would be laughing. But laughter brings us great healing. They say that you can release more energetically with a laugh than with tears. So if you can get to a place, whether it's that, or do you know the Harry, he taught in Lilydale many times, Lomi Hawaiian hand healing. Have you ever had a chance to meet him? He started the workshop at the fire assembly hall. He came in, he just started laughing, and everybody's kind of looking at each other like, what's this guy doing? And then he just kept laughing and laughing and laughing, and the whole room then was laughing with there's tears coming down our eyes. And then he just stopped. He kind of looked around the room. He's like, now we can start class. But just with your presence, you can hold the space.
That's an amazing way to start. Yeah, amazing. You know, Tom did that too.
Yeah.
And actually, I think I needed to release myself because that made me laugh so hard. I was laughing so hard on the class, my stomach hurt. So, but I think it was like a releasing, and I think not right now. We need that.
Yeah, definitely.
For sure. Did you get the caller, Karen, or?
It was somebody calling in to give us a hand on how to get the audio working, because we are on dead air, I guess. So I'm not sure how to. Yeah, we're chatting at the moment. So but you guys carry on, and I'll just keep.
All right, we'll carry on.
Okay.
So Hank, when you went, so now when we go to fellowships is School of Healing and Prophecy, you know, and we learn a lot of stuff about healing, and we learn a lot about mediumship. And I know for me, it was like I loved the healing part, but I really resonated with the mediumship. How about you?
Yeah, I went and I thought that I was going just for the healing, and then readings became a huge part of my business for a very long time. And just recently, I kind of shifted back to the healing realm. And it's not that I don't give messages, but I call more of a intuitive facilitation. And I ask a series of questions to the person to empower them to come to their own awareness about things without etching something in their reality that could just be a point of view through my filters that I'm perceiving. So it's all about, for me, like trying to get them to the place where they don't need me to tell them. They can come to their own awareness around it.
Which I think is fantastic anyway, because we can do, even like say in a reading, it's better. I teach, you know, for the same reason, because I want to teach people to come to their own awareness as well. But I loved it, like the you and I did readings together back when the whole pandemic first started, remember?
Yeah, we should definitely do that more often. That was great, because Angie would bring in the message from spirit, and then I would kind of do what I do with the facilitation, asking a question, giving them a clearing that would give them something to put, you know, an action plan together to help facilitate the change from what spirit brought through. So it really worked really well together. It
did. Yeah, we have to try to, we both got so busy. We need to make that a regular thing, I think.
We definitely do.
So tell us what it means to be a shaman. Because I know, like, I've known you for a long time, and I know of shaman work, but I don't know exactly what that means. What is a shaman?
Well, technically, the word shaman is referring to a very specific tradition from the Siberian region of Russia. And then it kind of got used as an umbrella term in England, because they would say that plus any native tradition is a shaman. So technically what I practice is a South American tradition called the Paco Cuna tradition of Peru. So all Pacos are shaman, not all shamans are Pacos, because it's really an umbrella word. It's kind of just like healer would be an umbrella word, but you could do Reiki, you could do Lomi. So I just want to clarify that. But there's a commonality between all types of shamanism. All shamans, all lineages that I am aware of anyway, they all believe that everything is part of the same animated essence. So everything is alive, because it's all part of what we would call, my tradition, the Kasai Pacha, the field of living energy. So even a rock has a consciousness to it that you could communicate with. And then the shaman would act as the bridge between worlds, kind of connecting, being in the world but not of it, and serving as the bridge for people to be able to have energy flows that are going from them and being redistributed out throughout the cosmos. So they're in the world, but not of it. If that makes sense. We're quite literally out of our mind.
No, good. Out of our mind. We all are. I hear you with that.
I say that jokingly. My teacher, Zane, one of his teachers would always say, they say shamans are crazy, but there's important work to do in the crazy.
Yes, yeah, that's true. It's true. I know you do like sound bowls, right? Or sound healing. Okay, tell us about that. I love that.
So sound healing. Oh, and I can probably grab one. I have one close by, so I can show a bowl. You can still hear me. I'm just grabbing this real quick.
Okay.
So in a moment, I can give you a demonstration.
Okay. Oh, I love this.
So
go ahead.
No, go ahead. What were you going to say while I get this out?
I was going to say for everybody, you know, if you've not ever experienced like sound healing or a ceremony with sound bowls, absolutely make a point of experiencing, because there's nothing like it. You know, to sit in meditation, and I've gone to some of Hank's, and we actually did one on Zoom not too long ago. But boy, that's a deep meditation and a healing, really, and you're connecting to spirit yourself. It's amazing.
Yeah. Absolutely. And the thing with, speaking of that, I'm doing that for fellowships. Next Friday, I'm doing a virtual concert. So if anyone's interested in that, you can look that up on the fellowships website. But the thing that really got me into sound was that as I was going through fellowships and all the different trainings, I felt that most of the tools that I was receiving focused mainly on emotional, spiritual. Like, it's not that they couldn't have a physical effect, but I was looking for something that if someone came with a backache, I would be able to do something to help with the backache. So I found two modalities that really cater to that. One was aromatherapy. I'm a certified aromatherapist. And the other was sound, because sound is like, I call it a bridging modality, because you can speak to the science behind it, or you could speak to the metaphysics behind it. So if you get the husband at a show with his arms crossed that doesn't want to hear anything, and you can talk a little bit about science, that makes him way more receptive to having an experience than if you're talking about these energies balance the chakras, you know. So it's just a kind of an opening modality. But what I know that people, if we're actually live on the radio now, they can't see this, but I have a hand bowl with me, and it's like 99.9% quartz crystal, and I'm going to just activate it so you can hear it a little bit. Can you hear it okay?
Yeah.
So that's just one example of a tone from one little bowl, and I have 21 of these in my office that I facilitate healings for people. And what the sounds do is they heal in a couple different ways. One is there's certain frequencies for certain energy centers or even organs of the body. So if you have someone with a diseased liver, for example, you could use a tuning fork that's a frequency of a healthy liver to help it come into sympathetic resonance. And then when you get more than one sound thing going at a time, the overlap creates all these like tens of thousands of nodes in your body. A node is a still point. And in that still point, the water molecule subjected to the harmonics starts to spin and make sacred geometry. So sound healing is literally sacred geometry happening in the water molecules of your body. So it's you get the benefit of the physical healing, and then it bridges into the metaphysics with all these little sacred geometric shapes that occur when you're using the different bowls and tuning forks.
That's amazing.
Yeah,
that's amazing. Tell them about like. What did you say, Hank? What?
I said when it comes to sound healing, I totally can nerd out with the sound healing stuff. So bring me back if I'm talking too technical.
Oh my gosh, no, it's amazing. Tell them about the ceremonies you have, because you came to Santosha and you've done a couple of those ceremonies, and they were amazing.
Yeah, so one of the things, what I could do is I combine the sound and the ceremony. So I do these sound baths, I call it ceremony and sound, and I open up, this is a Kintu Mesa. This is like basically a cloth that you fold, and it's folded into a square wrapped with a tie, and it has different stones in it, and you use this kind of to hold the energy while you open sacred space. So just to give an example, I'm going to just speak in Quechua for a moment. I'll call in all the elements just to give people a taste of a ceremony. But the idea is you open in the sacred space, and the space that you create then holds like it lets people step into a possibility of healing, because it also takes the left brain and it shelves it. It doesn't know what to do because it's never experienced anything like that, and then it makes people just open to receive the healing they already brought with them. So here is a little quick opening. Hahaya, Pachamama, beloved Earth Mother, ompwi, 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 bring your healing here. Iari, Mama Kia, Mother Moon, ompwi, 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 bring your healing here. Hahaya, Mama Unu, ompwi, 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 Mother Water, bring your healing here. Iari Taiwantan Waira Kuna, the four winds, ompwi, 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 bring your healing here. Hahaya, Inti Taita, Father Sun, ompwi, 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 bring your healing here. Iari Quichikuna, the rainbow. Ompui, 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 bring your healing here. Ahaya Yanapekuna, all of our spirit guides. Ompui, 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 bring your healing here. And finally, Iari Wirakocha, the creator energy. Ompui, ompui, ompui. Usually I draw that out a lot more in chant, but we got limited time, so I thought I would give a quick taste of all that.
I love it. I love it because you can feel it. I have felt it like being in a ceremony with you, but you just start doing the chanting and calling in spirit guides and calling in the directions and everything you're doing, and I can feel the energy. It feels like a healing already starting.
Yep, you're getting all the support in spirit. And when you're saying bring your healing here, the beautiful thing about the way that we use the words is it also translates to heal what the soul's already healed. And in that way, you're acknowledging that at some place in this ever-present moment of now, the part of you that is broken is actually not broken. And you can call and basically get the blueprint for the healed you by using this word choice as well. And then also getting the help from all the different spirit people and beings around us.
Wow. Do you do one-on-one ceremonies like that too? Like would you do healing on somebody using the bowls and?
Yeah, well, I have an office in my in North Olmsted, Ohio, and I just recently I got some really good microphones coming, so I am going to start offering like virtual sessions as well. Up until now, I didn't feel that I had really the good setup to offer it virtually, the sound stuff for it to really be received the way that I would like it to be received. But on Wednesday, I got 3 more microphones coming, and it's going to all change.
Oh. That's exciting. I know we've all kind of getting into that equipment now. So, okay. I feel like we have some questions here. Are you looking at the questions, Karen? Let's see. Oh, maybe not. Can hear you. Can you purchase a CD? Joanna's asking. I'm not sure what that is. Oh, my aunt's on here. Hi, Aunt Nadine.
Yeah, and I don't have any CDs yet. But once we get the recording, like the microphones, I'm planning to do recordings and then do like guided meditations over them. And on my YouTube channel, Stir Crazy Shamans is the YouTube channel that I post to the most. If you go back a couple weeks, I had posted a sound healing concert, same way that I did for Angie's group with the Zoom call, and I did a whole guided meditation for COVID. And it was really like calling in the energy of the virus, asking, give us your gift so that we don't have to suffer by your hand, and really just facilitating a conscious collaboration with it. And since I mentioned COVID, I think I already gave you this. Did I tell you the acronym that Spirit gave me for COVID?
I don't remember. Tell me.
Yeah, so it is create opportunities via intuiting divinity. COVID.
I saw that on your Facebook page.
Yeah, I have that. I have it. I've been posting little memes of it all over the place, because what if we were all to take a moment and pause and really get in touch with our souls and that divine spark within and follow the impulse of the soul? What world would we live in if we were all following that? And I was thinking that COVID, with basically hitting a pause button on the world, it gave a lot of people that opportunity to kind of wake up and start to really be in touch and in alignment and in congruency with their whole being, and start start making choices and responding to life instead of reacting through life. And when we all start doing that, the whole world changes overnight, when we're all actually responding instead of reacting through our day.
Oh, I totally agree. You know what, Hank? We only have like a minute and a half left on the radio, so I want to just close that part out. We can stay on Facebook if you want to stay on Facebook. Okay.
And we're not broadcasting in Blog Talk. I'm talking to some people who are trying to walk me through it, so don't worry about the radio part.
Okay. Well, okay. All right. So, okay. Well, if you're just joining us, okay, we will be broadcasting sometime on Lilydale Blog Talk Radio. Hank, we'll have you back next week. We'll do this again. My name is Angie Hewett-Abt. I'm here with my guests, Hank Setala and Karen Sully. I am a Lilydale registered medium. I also own Santosha Holistic Center. I'm a medium. I've been practicing mediumship for over 25 years. And a graduate of Fellowships of the Spirit, and that's where I met Hank.
Awesome. And ever since I knew Angie, we have always been wanting to do stuff together. Now that's another bless in the mess from COVID. We've actually had a couple of collaborations, and it's great. And my name's Hank Setala. As she already introduced me, I call myself the Sonic Shaman because I combine Peruvian shamanism with sound therapy, and then a lot of other things I've learned along the way too. And I like to say that it's no limit healing. You just allow the energy of the moment to guide you to whatever is going to create the greatest possibility, and don't put anything in a box of limitation where you're trying to define it and conclude it.
Oh, that's so true. That's so true. You know what? I love that you said bless in the mess. And actually, my Aunt Nadine is on, and her daughter, Julie, is where I got that from, my cousin, who always said that. Like, we had a lot of things happen in our family. We had a period of 2 or 3 years that were tough. And we always talked about what's the bless in the mess. And the bless in the mess was with all the craziness, we all got closer, which was actually good, a really good thing. But I agree with you that's what happened with actually the three of us here, right?
Yep, definitely.
Yeah.
And a couple other, we got to get back on some of our meetings for some of the other projects too. I'm just saying that since I got you and Karen on the call at the same time, we have some planning to do.
Yes, we do. Yes, actually, how does everybody feel about this? As we're talking about having a virtual expo. Yep. You can tell them a little bit about your expo, Hank.
Well, in October, I run a 35,000 square foot holistic fair normally. It's called the Holistic Health and Healing Expo. And because of everything happening in the world with COVID, we are planning to kind of offer a hybrid this year where it's going to be half in person potentially, but with the ability to go fully virtual. And that's part of what I'm working with Karen and Angie on, is kind of doing a dry run of that in the Buffalo area. We're going to call it the Emergence of Being Light Summit, I believe is the name that we were throwing around. And it's just going to be mainly focused more on speakers, but with a little possibility for other things with it as well, but kind of being a hub where people can come and get different talks and different inspirations to help them, start to respond through life instead of react. Yeah,
that's for sure. I love that, and respond to it instead of reacting. And that's what we learned to do. And we sort of thought that, like, with the work that we do, we felt like it was really, really important to keep doing it during all this. And a lot of things were shutting down, so we learned a lot about doing things virtual and Zoom and things like that. Right, Hank?
Absolutely. In fact, I have my whole podcast. We just did our 70th episode, believe it or not, since COVID started. And it kind of started as a joke. I was hosting a class for my teacher, Don Zane Kerfman. We were doing a spirit lodge, and we had to make the last class go virtual, last 2 classes actually. And I jokingly said, we should start a blog or a podcast called Stir Crazy Shamans. And Casey was my first guest, but from the very first episode, I'm like, oh yeah, this is going to be like a Hank and Casey thing. It's not just a me thing. And now we've had 70 episodes live streaming from nature, and we've had so many people tune in and just message that what we're doing has been creating such a shift in their lives and a lightness during their day. And you're doing the same thing. I see you live all the time. And a lot of it is just showing up and being available and just offering whatever vibration you can be in the world, and people resonate with that, and it just helps everybody out.
Yeah, I feel like it's needed right now. It's kind of funny because so many things start out like that, where you kind of think, hey, what the heck? Let's do a Stir Crazy Shaman thing. And now, like you said, you're on your 70th episode, right? So many things. Like I think spirit works with us that way, that they kind of give us things. And I know for us, it was we have a monthly spiritual worship service. And that was never meant to really be a monthly spiritual worship service. That was somebody asking me, hey, what the heck, do you want to try this? And I always say, sure, why not? To most things. And we started it, and so many people came to it that now here we are, like 4 years later. We've had to move locations twice because we've gotten so many people coming to it. And actually, that's one of the things we're now doing on Facebook Live as well.
Awesome. Yeah. So much fun and possibility.
So much. I know. I agree. We have to have you come and speak at that, Hank.
Absolutely. Oh, is that no? That's virtual too, right? Now that is virtual. Yeah. Could definitely do that. And I think not yesterday, but next Sunday, I'm going to be on doing the fireside talk for fellowships too. So that's going to be another possible place where people can get a little dose of lightness. In fact, they do that every Sunday now. They have a little fireside chat and have different guests. I think Barbara Sanson was just on and had an amazing talk. They always had different people.
Elaine was on last night. I know, it's wonderful. Karen, can you put the link up for fellowships? Because if anybody's interested, Hank is teaching Tell them about the classes you're teaching at fellowships.
Well, originally I was teaching an all-day tuning fork workshop, which of course virtually doesn't work so well because I can't ship people tuning forks to use and then ship back. So I changed it to a 5-part series of tuning your life with vibration. And the first one's going to be on the original Saturday that we were planning it. And then each Monday after that, Monday from 6 o'clock till 8 o'clock, it's going to be another little Zoom call, and each one has a different focus. So the first one's all about breaking down the limitations that stop you from healing, breaking down limitations that stop you from stepping into the totality of you. And then the next 3 calls dive into balancing the physical body and aligning that with the spirit. The next one is emotional, mental. The next one is spiritual, along with soul retrievals. And then last one is putting it all together and just using all the tools to go out throughout your day to continue to use them and create more and more in your life.
I love it. I love it. And that's all going to be on Zoom, right?
It's going to be all on Zoom. Yep. And that's why I broke it down. It just didn't feel fun to have somebody, because my class was supposed to be, I think, either 8 a.m. till 5 or 8 to 6. And I can't see anybody being on a Zoom call that long. So I thought I'm going to break it up and just offer it as a little series. And I think that will be a lot easier for people to digest. And then, of course, they get the audio recordings potentially too. If they have to miss a class, they can get caught up. So they don't even have to worry if they have one Monday that they just can't get a babysitter or can't find the time to be live, that we still have it as a backup too.
Yeah, actually, we found that with Zoom too, with everything we have, we record it, which is another wonderful thing about Zoom, right?
And did you know you can live stream Zooms?
I think Karen might have known that.
Does. Yeah, Karen's shaking her head. Yes.
Yeah.
I don't think we've done that yet, though. We need to learn that. We learned about this StreamYard from you, Hank.
Yeah, I appreciate it. I have referred so many people to StreamYard. People message me all the time, like, what are you using to do this? And it's like, StreamYard, here's my affiliate link. And so many people have started their own streams just by seeing that. And that's one thing. Have you ever read the books by Neil Donald Walsh called Conversations with God by Chance?
Yes, not for a long time.
So,
talk about those. Those are good books. So
in 2016, he wrote a book called Book 4, Awaken the Species. And it's really about humanity going from being human doings to being human beings, and talking about us stepping into like the next level of our evolution as a species. And where was I going with that? Anyway, I don't know where I was going with that. I had a thought, and then it just was like poof, and it went.
Sharing the radio stations from one stream.
Thank you. Yeah, that gave it to me. So in there,
that's right.
It's talking about how like one person doesn't have to change the world, but one person, if you surround yourself in your community with people who have a like vision, and that little community can affect a bigger community, and then that bigger community affects a bigger community. That's how the progress is really made, and the whole world can shift. If everybody really starts being that energy, it will naturally just bubble up, and you'll have that shift of consciousness, that Maharishi effect, the 100th monkey effect, where the whole species jumps to that awareness, right? And in this book, it's giving that example. And just by, I'm using the streaming now as an example, by Casey and I doing what we're doing, by you doing what you're doing, it's inspired other people to start doing these kinds of streams and offering their light to the world and giving them an avenue to be them. And then it's just one example of how that's working, because how many people are now doing what we're doing because they see an example and say, hey, that's easy. If that knucklehead shaman could figure out how to use streaming software, I sure can. And then they go out and they can do the same thing.
I know. I thought the same thing.
Anyway,
What's that, Karen?
What, Karen?
I said, how hard could it be anyway?
Right.
That's what we always say. How hard could it be anyway? You know, and honestly, I always think that, because one way or the other, you figure it out. But you know what I like that you said, Hank, too, is humans being and not doing, right? Because so often, I mean, for me, that's part of the lesson I learned with this whole thing of the pandemic and having to stay home, is I learned how to be and not just do. Because normally I'm somebody that's always doing a million things all the time. And I think it's good to slow down.
Absolutely, because you start showing up for your own experience. My friend Param, he's a local, he's a professor at Baldwin Wallace, which is a school here, but he's been all over the country doing talks, and he was even featured on a TED Talk. And he has this whole thing called Why Life Sucks, a global voyage to overcome the misery of everyday living. A lot of people give him flack for the title, but the people who really are feeling like their life sucks, they're drawn to this class, and it's all the workings and the teachings of the mystic Osho. And they give the example of the little robot, and your little robot is driving the car, and your little robot is brushing your teeth. And the first thing to really start making a shift is to just stop and notice that you weren't driving. And then you start to show up and make the choices. You're the one brushing your teeth. You're the one driving your car. And that's what COVID has done, is it's made everybody pause. The little robot's like, I don't got nothing to do. I'm shutting down. And you started having to like make your own choices for a moment. And now that once people show up for their own life, now it makes it easier and easier to notice, hey, that robot was driving again. I better not let that happen. And really starting to choose.
Yeah, because that's really true. Because I think at first we didn't know what to do with ourselves, right? And then it was like, for me, I've read lots of books and done lots of things and caught up on things and gone for nature walks and things that I normally don't have time to do. It's important.
Right. And, something inspired from the world of shamanism I share with everybody. If you happen to live close to where you were born, in the tradition, the Paco tradition, we believe that the place that you were born, the feminine and masculine nature spirit of that birthplace, hold the blueprint for the perfect you. And if you were to go on a pilgrimage and go back, or if you can't, just like look it up on a map, find pictures about it. Like for people who are born in Cleveland, your Pacarina, your feminine nature spirit, is Lake Erie, hands down. It might be a stream by you. I was born in Pittsburgh, right in between the rivers. So literally that 3-river meeting place, that's my Pacarina, that's my feminine nature spirit. But the idea is that if you touch in with them, you could just ask, give me my blueprint. And when I say blueprint, it's not like it's destiny that you have to do certain things. It's just like, this is the blueprint that you have, but guess what? You're the architect, so you can change your own blueprint. But what it does is it helps you get re-resonated with your purpose, if you will, the purpose that you may have thought to come in with. You have free reign to change it, but sometimes that helps to bring yourself into resonance with your life path and gets you back on track to start really choosing things that are aligned body, mind, and spirit, and not just the mind.
Love that. That's so true. Because sometimes we get off track, right? And I've had people say that to me many times in a reading. They come because they want to reconnect to what what is my purpose? I have no idea. I'm off track. That's a great way to do it, to get back there.
Yeah, definitely. And then I always tell people, if you're looking for a path to follow, you'll never find it, because the path that's truly yours is the one that's never been blazed yet, because no one's walked it before you. You might walk on someone else's for a short period of time, but your path is your own. You're the trailblazer. And so that's the kind of my thought on it, because there's so many unique things in the world. There's room for everybody to have their own unique path. You don't have to follow anybody's, though sometimes on a path you learn a trick or two to help you on your own.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. I love that. Well, I'm just taking a look over here. Any questions? We have Mary on. Hi, Mary. Hi, Jean. Just saying hi to everybody. Santosha's, that's probably Brenda. Hi, Brenda. That Brenda gets on Santosha's page. Okay.
Yep.
So,
and I should mention, I know we're streaming to my pages too, but every place, if you're watching this on Stir Crazy Shamans or Shaman's Way, Holistic Health and Healing, we can't see your comments because it's being done a different way than what they're doing. So if you do want to comment, I did put a YouTube link in the description for that video. If you head over there and make a comment, we can definitely see them, or they can see them and put them on screen.
Yeah, sounds good.
Very cool.
Yes, we love getting your comments. We love hearing what you think or your questions and all as well. So what else is going on at the center? Tell us about your center, Hank.
Well, the center, we have made it like a holistic incubator of sorts. So we have a couple different offices, and for people that are just starting out that don't have office space or are just looking for a place to be able to do their work out of, people can be a subscriber. They can have use of the space by the hour for a really reasonable rate, and then they have the space to do classes and things. But with COVID, everything changed overnight. So we've actually been doing a lot more virtually, getting geared up just like you guys have been doing, and being able to start to offer a lot of that virtually. But I'll tell you what, the very first event that we were able to really have that we opened up to the public again, we had it pre-scheduled so we would minimize how many people were at the center at the time, and we almost sold out of the event. People are hungry to come back, I think, and actually have that one-on-one personal experience and that connection that they've been missing for so long.
So can you have that? How are things in North Olmsted? We're on like stage 3 of opening up in Buffalo.
Oh, well, I think we've been opened up a little bit longer than that, but everything is really reserved. And as they see the spikes go up, who knows if the governor will change it again. But it seems like everybody's out and about. Everybody's out in, especially in nature. That's one thing. Casey and I have been doing a lot of nature hikes recently. And one thing that we noticed as we would go out, you would see these people that, like the woods seemed alive, nature seemed alive with all the people taking advantage of being able to go out. And you could tell like some people were even commenting, hey, yeah, this is becoming like the new normal. We get to see each other on our walks and stuff like that. And one of the theories that my teacher had about COVID was that it was a representation, whether you know, believe conspiracy theories or not, or whatever you want to believe, that it was our unconscious choice as a culture, as a species, that resulted in COVID coming up, and it represents an imbalance between us and Pachamama, Mother Earth. And so just seeing that, it was like very warming to my heart, seeing people really taking the opportunity, getting back to nature. People weren't all necessarily just staying home; they were taking the opportunity to get out and do things that they, you know, that really sung to their soul. From the way I looked at it.
Yeah. Oh yeah, no, that's so true. Have you ever gone out like Hank and hugged a tree?
Yes. I definitely have. Have you got it, Karen?
Yeah, I have. I went to a nature camp in 9th grade. It was out near Rushford Lake in New York, and we actually were blindfolded and led by a partner all through the woods. We had to hug a tree, and then led us back, and we had to go find the tree that we hugged. And it was all about noticing what you're walking on and, you know, the scent and using nature to find your way back to something. So it was an exercise, and it was so much fun. My sister and I used to play it at home. We lived near woods, and we would drag each other like, you can't find it. So
that actually sounds like a pretty good class to me.
Yeah,
I think we should try that. You know, we have a question.
Yeah.
We have a question with Irene. How can sound help heal grief when the anniversary of a passing comes up?
Okay, so one thing, vibrationally speaking, rose water or rose oil, if you can get anything like that, it's a very high vibration oil, 350 different chemical components. And when my grandfather passed, and he committed suicide, so it was a bit of a traumatic passing, I actually went up and I made little inhalers of rose oil that I brought with me. And it was that just the smell of roses. You'll hear people say all the time, like they smell roses after someone passes. So just rose oil can really help with grief. From a sound perspective, I would use, there is a set of forks called angel tuners. So it is 4,096 hertz, which is C, and then the two up from that, they're real high pitched. And basically by activating them, it increases the vibration, and it can help more in tune you to be able to have a conscious connection with your loved one who's crossed. So it just kind of opens the space for you to be able to realize that relationships never end, they just change form, and it makes it easier to connect. So that would be a great a fork set if you were looking for a little bit of sound to help it. Rose oil or rose scented things would definitely help with that too.
Good question, Irene. Thanks for asking that question. And Hank, Kimberly says, I love Stir Crazy Shamans and appreciate tuning in.
Awesome. Thank you, Kimberly. Yeah, we've been having a blast with that show. And we have to have you back on our show, Angie. We loved having you on. You're our most watched video.
Really?
Yeah,
oh my gosh.
Our most watched video. You're our only video in triple digits right now. So that's amazing. So thank you.
That's awesome, man.
I didn't even know. Well, I'll definitely come back. We got to have you back too. You know, I'm definitely, maybe next week we can get on here and do our readings together. And if anybody is interested in a reading from Hank and myself, write your questions in. Or how do we do that? Agree for them to come on screen.
Yeah, so the way that we did it last time, and Karen, you're welcome to drive. We both have access to the board, so we can kind of co-monitor it or whatnot. But we would post a link for becoming, just like how I'm in studio right now. We're able to have 10 people in the studio, 6 people on the screen at once. Now, we would never put that many on at a time, but we bring people on one at a time so we can connect with the energy. And Angie starts by, well, who says who starts? But usually Angie starts by bringing a message from spirit, and then I will usually pose some sort of facilitation by giving you a question that you can ask. And the reason I say that is questions create awareness, and awareness gives you the ability to make a choice. You're not looking for an answer. If you find an answer, ask another question, because all the energy stops when you come into definition and conclusion. So you ask a question to gain awareness, and then this the way that I do it, I leave you with something that you can take with you after the reading to help facilitate the change or whatever came up in the reading for you.
Yeah. Okay. I love that. Hank.
You get homework.
no more guests. Yeah, but that's a good thing though too, because that gives you something to do that you can actually change your reality or change your life or do something different. I think I loved when we did that.
Yeah, it felt really fun. Yeah.
I know we had a lot of fun when we started all this Zoom stuff, right?
We did. We got to
still
get
are.
back to doing more. We kind of, I think, both got busy with our own things and we lost touch a little bit, but we are back.
I know we're back. We're back on track. So, all right. Well, Hank, thank you so much for coming on tonight on our show. And I look forward to seeing you again next week. And I want to thank Karen for being on, my assistant, my partner in crime, because how hard could it be anyway, right?
Yeah.
And I want to thank everybody for joining us tonight and tuning in, and for your comments and your questions and your likes. We appreciate it. My name is Reverend Angie Hewett-Abt. I'm a registered Lilydale medium, and this is my show, Conversations with Angie and Friends. And Lilydale Blog Talk Radio. We're on every Monday at 7 p.m. We also stream on Facebook. And I wanted, if you look at Lilydale Blog Talk Radio, there are quite a few other shows as well. Celeste Elliott has a show, Be One with Spirit. That's on Thursdays at 8 a.m. Willa White has Wednesdays with Willa. Okay, I love that. And that's 10 a.m. on Wednesdays. John White, Reverend John White, has 8 p.m. on Wednesdays, has a Blog Talk Radio show. It's really good. And Mondays at noon is Sharon Hill, and I'm not sure what the name of her show is, but that's on as well. And there's going to be quite a few others starting. So if you watch, and everybody's has something different. So so tune in whenever you can. We appreciate it. Thank you.
And if I could, if anybody wants to catch the shows that I've been doing with Casey, our website, if you go to Stir Crazy Shamans, we actually have all the shows, the audio or the video, all on the website. And there is also, on Thursday, I have a virtual apprenticeship starting. And we were joking about a question about the apprenticeship when we started, but we never got around to that. But if anybody's interesting, well, Karen was asking.
You know, it's
yeah, but she was asking, like, if I'm an apprentice, does that mean I have to go get your coffee and stuff? I'm like, no, that's not what it is.
Why not? Hank? No, I'm kidding. Go ahead.
Yeah, but if anybody who wants to go on that path on Thursday, so you have a very short time to choose, but we're starting a 20-week virtual apprenticeship with my teacher, Don Zing Kerfman. And there, if you go to the website, there's a thing that right on there that says virtual apprenticeship, and it has links too for our upcoming events. Like we're doing a group healing on Wednesday in the afternoon. You can attend virtually. So there's all kinds of fun stuff. If you want to connect with me, that's the best website right now.
Excellent. Yeah, actually, we have some good things coming up. I always forget to talk about Santosha, but Santosha Holistic Center too. I get so caught up in the conversations, but we have a lot of classes too. If you take a look at our website, we have lots of different things coming up as well. It'll be a little bit different in the summer, which actually I'm hosting. I should talk about this on Thursdays. We're hosting with Fellowships of the Spirit and Santosha a spiritual development circle, which will be fun. It'll be a guided spiritual development circle, and it's really kind of the way spiritualists have sat together for years and years and years, developing their intuition. So, and we're going to be doing that on Zoom as well. So I'm excited about that.
And developing. I was going to say, developing intuition is a must. I was quoted in the Fellowships catalog once. I think my quote was something to the effect that going through spiritual insight training or the development circles, it was like going through life beforehand with just a paper map and afterwards having like Google Maps. So like whether, no matter regardless if you want to do this kind of work or not, it's an absolute must to develop your intuitive abilities so you can have that guiding compass for everything that you're choosing in life.
Oh yeah, use it in your daily life. Like I mean, it's wonderful to do readings, and I love it's an honor. But yeah, you can use your intuition in your daily life, and you know we all have intuitive feelings all the time. Every single one of us is born with a connection to our intuition, and you can think about just the most common. I think are gut feelings. People get a feeling or a knowing about something, and a lot of times you think about it after, right? And you go, oh, I knew that. You know, I had a feeling I shouldn't have done that usually, right?
Yeah. Hindsight's 2020. And then, but yeah, so the intuition, I said tuition, your development circle. I guess I find that some people get intimidated thinking that if you go to a development circle, it means that you got to be a medium and do readings and stuff like that. But it's really more about really getting in touch with your own knowing.
Yeah, and this development circle is going to be a teaching circle, and that's exactly what I'm going to be teaching, is getting in touch with your own knowing so you can use it in your own life. That, to me, that's the most important thing. And it's a tool. Why not use that tool? You know, like just like meditation is a tool that I personally think they should teach it in schools. Don't
Definitely.
you, Hank?
They actually do. And some of my kids, they had mindfulness exercises. They had a teacher come in and they had a little bowl. And my son was like, my daddy has a lot of those. And it's like, well, what does your daddy do? My daddy's a shaman. And she's like, what? And then so they had me do a video and I sent it to the teacher. And then they asked me to come in and do like a little concert for the kids, bringing crystal balls. So like the schools are getting definitely a lot more open and receptive to it. If people are transparent about what they do and people resonate, you never know what you'll be asked to do and facilitate change for little ones. So
that's for sure. You know what? There was a girl in fellowships. Her name's Andrea, and I can't think of her last name, but actually she's a teacher in Ohio, and I think Cleveland area. And she had the kids like put their heads down, and she'd play meditation music and give them a little guidance. And she said she turned her class like into like a class of more like happier, joyful, behaved much better, like they were teenage age, where not behaving as well in school. And she said it was made a huge difference.
Awesome. Cool.
Yeah.
How does it get any better than this? What else can we?
How does it get any better than this?
What else can we do to make more change in the world? This has been so much fun. I cannot. Well, we're definitely doing it next week. You say? Is that our next virtual date?
Hank's going to be back next week, and Karen is too. And come on, and if you want to come on, you can come on screen, and we're going to give you readings together. We have a very unique style of doing readings, and we'd love to have you back. And yes, my Aunt Nadine Daniels is my aunt, my mom's sister, and yes, I am going to be at Lilydale on the weekend. I'm going to be at Lilydale a lot, so I would love it. We should talk because you can come down and visit me. I would love that. That'd be great. Everybody come down and see me in Lilydale. I'm excited, so excited.
It's my first
medium. Huh?
Just say 6 feet apart. That's all.
Just stay 6 feet. Oh yeah, you have to have your mask, and yeah, there's definitely social distancing. They're only allowing like 80 people in a day, so it's a big difference. So you have to really, yeah. So unless like you're staying at a guest house, so it's 80 plus guest houses and hotel. But if you're going to go down to Lilydale, go on their website. I just saw it today. You can buy your ticket to get in Lilydale ahead of time. So I would recommend it.
Yeah, because that would be sad driving all that way and it turned around. I would have to go by the fence and like hop it or something and sneak in. No.
I'll sneak in. I'll sneak in.
I shouldn't have said that on air because now they'll know if I was there. I snuck in. No.
Yeah, I know they're going to think I said that too. I'm kidding. I'm not sneaking anybody to Lilydale. I'm just kidding around there. So you either, Karen, not allowed.
Nope.
Well, thank you, everybody. Thank you, Hank, so much. Thank you, Karen, so much. Thank you to all of you. I look forward to seeing you next Monday at 7 p.m. for Angie and Friends Spiritual Conversations. We'll be streaming on Facebook and also on Lilydale Blog Talk Radio. So have a great night, everybody.
Bye, everyone.
Bye, everybody.